Hello, welcome to the Dayton Branch NAACP monthly community meeting, where we're going to be educated by our veterans. And matter of fact, we salute all of our veterans. This is Veterans Month, and at the end of the day, we are here and we want to be able to be educated by our veterans, and veterans are going to educate veterans today. So with that, sit back, relax, and be educated. And I'm going to turn this over to the chairman of our Armed Services and Veteran Affairs Committee Chair, which is Terrence Williams. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
My name is Terrence Williams. I'm a 30-year Air Force veteran, and I'm happy to be the moderator for this evening today. We have some awesome people here to share some information with you. Our rule of engagement will be, we will give them a few minutes to introduce themselves, and a little bit about themselves. Most of them are veterans here, and they will tell you what they will be presenting this evening. And we will hold the questions and answers after each one has a chance to make their presentation. And my co-worker here, Mr. C.K. Williams, has some cards. And if you have any questions, please raise your hand. He will take your questions and we'll address them after everyone has an opportunity to present their information. So we'll start from this end. We do let somebody introduce herself, and we'll get rolling. And thank you all veterans for your service and your commitment to this nation. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. My name is Robin Titus. I have 28 years of naval service to this great country. Nice to meet you. Nice to see you, Tony. First of all, I'm here for the PACT Act, and it is presumptive conditions. It has changed since its inception, since August 22nd. President Joe Biden signed it into law, meaning some of the things that are going on with a lot of you in medical conditions are some things that you may be paid for. So I'm here to help. My presentation is PowerPoint, but we may not have it tonight, correct? Okay, so I'll do one-on-one with you. Thank you.
My name is Gregory Tucker. I'm with the VA Medical Center. I'm the Community Outreach Specialist. I've been with the VA for 15 years, and I'm also a naval veteran as well.
Good evening. My name is Cheryl Malone. I'm the CEO of Life Transition for Me and also a military consultant. And I'm also an Air Force veteran. Spent 21 years in the Air Force, so I thought we had Navy, had to change it up a little bit. Air Force is in the house. And I will talk to you about the Miami Valley Women's Veterans Outreach Collaborative and also some of the other services that the VA provides for women veterans.
I'm going to switch it up again. I am Stacey Benson Taylor, and I am your Montgomery County Recorder. I am not a veteran. I am a daughter and a stepdaughter and a niece of Army veterans and a cousin and aunt of Marine veterans. So I am a supporter and proud of that. We are responsible for the Veterans ID program at the Recorder's Office. And we record veterans IDs and we issue the state veterans ID cards. And so we work closely with an organization called InvitaVet and making sure that we are connecting all veterans that come into our office with the resources that are available.
I'm right there with Stacy. My name is Andrea Wingo. I am not a veteran, but I know a lot of veterans. My father-in-law was a 20-year veteran from the Air Force, and my uncle and lots of other people. I've been with VA for 27 years. I work in the Caregiver Support Program, so I'm going to go over some information in the packet about the Caregiver Support Program this evening.
My name is Terry versus Terrence.
Sorry, getting confused. My name is Terry Sims. I am a 21-year veteran of the Air Force. I have been with the VA in caregiver support for about 6 months. I've been with the VA for about 6 years, and I have been a veteran utilizing their services since 2012 when I retired and trying to navigate the VA system. So I'm here to discuss a little bit about that and caregiver support.
Thank you, Terrence. Terry T. Okay, so you can see with these individuals here, they have a wealth of knowledge on what they do in support of our veterans in the local area. So I will start with Miss Stacy because she has some action for you. Okay, going on right now as we speak.
So one of the initiatives that I had when I became your county reporter was to take our Veterans ID program and DD 214 recording mobile. When I went out to speak to different organizations, I found that a lot of our veterans, that meeting at the post, that breakfast, maybe the one activity for them or the one outing. Or maybe that navigating downtown just might be a little stressful. And so it didn't sit well with me to have to tell our veterans that in order to get their DD 214 recorded and to get their Veterans ID that they had to come downtown to the 5th floor of the county admin building. And so this year we rolled that out into a mobile program. And so in the hallway right now, anyone who has their DD 214, or even if you actually have a copy of it on your phone, you can go out and we can record your DD 214 and issue your state Veterans ID card right here on site. We have rolled out for next year, every the second Thursday of the month, we will be doing that at our various posts and legions throughout the community to, again, make this service accessible. Why record your DD 214? Because if you're like me and when you hit a certain age and you put things away safely, it may be too safe and you may not be able to find it. Or if something happens, there are a number of people who have come into our office because someone passed away unexpectedly and their DD 214 was recorded. And so it's a place where your DD 214 is recorded. It's always there. It is a free service, and it is a free service to get copies. So then your card is issued, and that information on your card correlates with your DD 214. So a person doesn't have to carry their DD 214 around with them. Their discharge information is readily available on this Veterans ID card. And that ID card is accepted throughout the state the same way a driver's license or any other ID. You can fly with this. I recently had a gentleman who had a card from 2018. His picture started wearing off, and I actually took one out to his house so that he could catch a flight that Sunday. And so to ensure, because he no longer drives, so that was the only valid ID that he had. And so that is available here. We have, if you check the recorder's website, we actually have, we'll be at the Downtown Dayton Library in December. And then again, next month, we will be at our various posts and legions and veterans organizations offering this service to the public.
Thank you, ma'am. So if anyone in here would like to get an ID card right now, it's the time to do it. Or you can wait and hear the rest of the presentations and then get your ID card. Okay? All right, next we'll go to Colonel Malone to share some information with you.
I'm short, so I need to stand up. Okay. I'll do a little different again. I'm Cheryl Malone. I am the CEO of Life Transition for Me, and what I want to talk to you today about is the Miami Valley Women Veterans Outreach Collaborative. It's a long word, long title for us, but basically it's an organization that Marita Trask, who used to be the program manager for, Marita, program manager for the women's clinic at the VA, and myself started to do outreach here in the Dayton VA servicing areas. There are probably about 6,000 women veterans in the servicing area. And back then in 2011, we decided it's time to do outreach. Because a lot of times our women veterans, we don't wear hats, we don't visibly say that we are veterans. We don't wear the caps most of the times, but we get out of the services, we're moms, we're workers, and we don't lose our identity as women veterans, but we don't visibly say that. or let it be known. And then sometimes in that position, we suffer in silence, meaning we keep going. We don't always talk. We don't go to the VFW, perhaps, because they put you in the auxiliary. But anyway, so this outreach group, the purpose of that was to go out and touch the women veterans in this area. So we started meetings monthly in 2011. They're still going on with that purpose, and we share information from the state. We share all the VA's programs, and we share information from the county commissioners as well as some of the private agencies in the area. The big thing about this group that meets monthly is that we offer a forum for camaraderie. Again, women veterans don't identify themselves visibly as veterans, but we do yearn for that camaraderie. We miss that, just like our male counterparts do. We miss that when we transition. So that group is established, and again, we meet monthly. We have fun with the camaraderie and the activities that are done there in the monthly meetings, but we also work hand in hand with the VA. Some of the accomplishments since we have started and working, collaborating with the VA and the county commissioners regarding veterans, we've seen the VA expand and move from the old facility to the new facility, not the VA, but the women's clinic in the VA, move from the old hospital facility they were in to the new facility. They started hosting events such as Cherishing Yourself events in which they get to pamper women veterans. And they've also expanded many of their programs. Far back, probably 15 years ago, women veterans who were pregnant couldn't get ultrasounds. They can now get that service from the VA now as well, from the women's clinic. Now, the camaraderie, again, is important to women veterans. I have an organization called Life Transition for Me. Again, I'm a veteran. I went through the whole process as most of the women veterans do. So I was called to start this organization, ministry business, to do coaching and resource connection, and also host a forum in which women veterans and veterans as a whole can have that camaraderie and also can get connected to the resources. So many of the women veterans that attend our monthly meeting are participating in one of the fun activities that my company hosts, which is a coastal retreat for women veterans and military spouses. So, and even we have some civilians who come as well. So every year in the coast, North Carolina, at Fort Caswell Retreat Center, we have about 20 to 25 women veterans come just to steal away. We all want to steal away at times, particularly when you're in these high stressful jobs. So it's a great forum for women veterans. It's open. I think I have women coming from about 5 or 6 other states. It's open to women veterans to come. I think, Terrence, you asked last week, a couple of weeks ago, men. If men come, we put them in a different facility so they can participate in that one. But the camaraderie is important for women veterans. The outreach, again, they don't always come to the VA unless they need to. So we reach out and touch them. And I've been fortunate to be involved with the organizations at the county level as well as in the VAs to help touch those women veterans out here. Okay. Any questions for me? Oh, you're good. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. So we're going to mix it up a little. We have
August 22nd, 2022, that people are just now hearing about it. It was signed into law in August the 10th of 2022. And not a lot of people are filing for it. So here's numbers here. Only 785,000 veterans are receiving benefits. We're at 70% rated. And I'm not telling my personal business, but in April 2024, I became 100% service connected with special numbers in place. And so I'm telling anyone that has served, and you're looking at the time frame, and you have potentially things that are going on, with your help, we're going to see that you're paid for it. And that's pretty much my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, man. You can be my best friend. Then we'll go here.
So my name is Andrea Wingo. As I said, I work with Caregiver Support. I gave out the packets, and so if you know other veterans and you want to pick up extra packets before you leave, you can. Under the Caregiver Support Program, we expanded in 2020, so October 1st of 2020 and October 1st of 2022. What the VA did in Congress put this into law is that a family member of a veteran can get paid to be caregiver. In our program, there's two sides to the program. So there's the general side of the program, and in that side, they can participate in groups and classes. We have a monthly calendar of activities. They can get any text messages, but in the general side, they can't get other benefits. So in your folder, it says two programs. What's the difference? That's the first one out there. So if they do apply for the comprehensive assistance for family caregivers, which in that program, a veteran has to be 70% service connected or above. The veteran has to have a need for personal care services, dressing, bathing, grooming, toileting, eating, mobility, or putting on a prosthetic device. And if the veteran meets one of those criteria, or if the veteran has cognitive issues or some kind of illness, injury, or disease that is affecting them, like so if they have TBI or they have dementia and they need supervision and protection, or if they need supervision and extensive instruction, then their family member can apply to be the caregiver. Now, if it's a wife, a husband, a daughter, a son, they do not have to reside with the veteran if it's a family member. If it's not a family member, then they do require that they do reside with the veteran. It is the only financial program that the Veterans Health Care Administration is over. As she said, she's with VBA and they do all the other financial stuff. So the first question I get from most veterans is, if I apply for this, will I lose my check? No, their check comes from the VBA and they get their check, and that's separate than this. This is paid directly to the caregiver. It's a 10-step clinical application process that they go through. The application process is listed over there on the right side. All of the information about that side of the program is over there. It has the criteria, it has the information. The one thing I do want to say that a lot of people don't realize is you can be 70% or even 100% service connected. If you don't need that assistance that adds a moderate to severe level of assistance, you may be turned down for the program because it is about needing a certain amount of assistance. So you can have 100% disability, but you're functionally independent. You can dress, you can groom, all of that kind of stuff. Like one veteran told me one time at an outreach event, I'm just one fall off the ladder away from needing more help. And you know, if you need it, apply for it. I'm trying to think, besides the stipend that you get paid every month, which is a GS4 Step 1, it's about $1,900 a month at the level 1, and it's about $2,900 at the level 2. It is decided by the SEAT team, they're the Central Eligibility and Appeals team. They do an assessment and decide if you're level 1 or level 2. And you can always ask to be reassessed if you have a change in your condition. Besides the stipend, your family member can get CHAMP VA health insurance. So if it's your daughter and she wouldn't be qualified for health insurance any other way, then she could become a CHAMP VA. They do mental health counseling. We have beneficiary travel. We have up to 5 hours of in-home respite care. They have an enhanced respite care from the other VA. And they can get financial and legal services that the VA contracts out for. So there's a big package of benefits that are on the comprehensive side of the program. So, trying to think what else. And the other thing is, I always say, one of the main things is you have to get your health care at the VA. So if you're a veteran who gets your health care up at the base, that's wonderful. There's a team at the base, that's the VA and the base, so you either have to be on that team or you have to get health care at the VA. VA. And Greg is going to tell you how to get enrolled for care at the VA. He's part of our team. Because if you're not in getting your health care from the VA, you can't be in either side of the caregiver support program. So that's a big piece of the puzzle that I wanted to cover. With that, I'll pass.
You know, this is a very critical program. We have a lot of folks now getting older, veterans, and you know, I've been asked this question over and over: how do we get care, you know, for our veterans? So hopefully, Mr. Chairman,
Thank you, Mr. Terrence. I appreciate that. I'm a social worker that works with her. I am part of the coordinators for the stipend side of the house, the PCAFC program. Oh my gosh, I can't remember my acronyms, but I can't remember what it stands for anymore. Thank you. You know how if we get our acronyms and all of a sudden we forget what they mean. So I do a lot of that. Also, I have been dealing with and working with trying to navigate VBA as a veteran, trying to navigate BHA as a veteran, and the challenges that we face and the way we do things and the difficulty at the VA. Sometimes it is difficult. And we also got to remember, like when we do our evaluations, she was talking about the ADLs, or those activities have to be every single time, not once every if you do it every once a week, it's not going to meet the qualification. And then I always suggest that make sure you start getting it documented by the doctors. Start having them report it, start having them say it. Because if you don't say it, they don't know it. And as a person who documents in the system, if it ain't documented, it didn't happen, okay? So it's very important to follow through with all that. And advocate for yourself. Advocate for your veteran. Advocate for yourself if you are the veteran, all right? And I can talk more about that if you have any questions. Thank you so much. Mr. Terrence, back to you.
Well, everyone told you basically a lot about VA, the three legs of VA, also regarding the various services, and that's just touching upon just a few of the services that are available through the VA. My job as an outreach specialist is to go out to the 19 counties that we service and find veterans who are not enrolled or is in the VA. Now, there's a couple of ways that we do that. Number one is partnering with many of my associates who are here at the table on the panel. This past year and the year before last, when the PACT Act came out, we would coordinate PACT Act events. And during that period, we would have our eligibility and enrollment, our toxic screeners out, and VBA would be actually there to process, to help veterans through the process. So those were great opportunities, and just a result of that, the PACT Act has increased our enrollment by 4.7%. Over the year. We actually did 6 PACT Act events as far as this past year. So again, my job is to go out to the places that may be underserved or to answer and direct veterans who may not know what is the process of being enrolled in the VA. So that's all I have, and if you have any questions, I'm right here.
Thank you, sir. So we're moving right along. So I do have a question for Mr. here. Is there a minimum percentage that you have to go from? 70% or above?
So it's 70% or above. Any veteran will prepare if they're not connected, if they're 10%, they can be in the general side, but to get the big package benefits, that's 70%.
Without me hearing about different stories with that. Awesome.
If you ever have any questions, please call 5 extension
5425, here on the back of the list rifle. So if you have a veteran that's interested in learning more about your support, our extension is being under 97268, 5425, covering into our program support assistant clerk, and she will pass that all along to someone else.
If you have any questions, I do assessments. I'm not the nurse, I don't do assessor, but I do assessments and help navigate and ensure the application is complete and we follow all the steps we get in through, and I coordinate all those steps until it gets pre-approved and then final approval, and then navigate, getting the stipend paid. Because you know what? Money. Navigate that is always a challenge.
Thanks, sir.
Terry talks about, when you talk about making sure it's in your record. We have a lot of veterans that come home that do not know where their medical records are, or either they were destroyed. So one of the programs, and you'll read a little bit about the PACT Act, about Sergeant Heath Robinson, how it came about. And the PACT Act was one of the programs they used to catapult those individuals that did not have medical care, that were those veterans that even perhaps homeless, didn't have jobs, and they would be on the campaign primarily. If you read about it, it talks about all the toxic exposures, but it's primarily people that didn't have medical care. So that was really a good part of it. And then the presumptive side of it is that they're presuming that you have these conditions. Now with me, I went to the desert 3 times, 115 degrees, female. What I meant by that is no disrespect to veteran women, but it was really tough for me carrying 70 pounds. I had both my shoulders replaced when I came home September 2010, and 1 knee replacement already. So those things are not so much the toxic side of it or the exposure to all the burn pits that were over there, but the wear and tear on my body. So I ended up, they presumed that I had neuropathy and presumed that I had spinal stenosis. And so I went to the Dayton VA and I sat down with a person, they signed me up for 13 conditions. And I ended up last November, this April, I was 100%. I didn't think anything was wrong with me. So you're so right when you say make sure everything is documented when you're in service. But this PACT Act is one of the very reasons why. Yes. And women, the military is male dominated. There's still a small percentage of women that serve.
You have to be twice as strong as we do.
And I will tell you, the reason why I went in was to get my doctorate. That is where I was. But after boot camp, I said, I want to serve my great country. So I changed altogether. So I just want to say all that to say that the PACT Act has 2 parts of it. To pay for those that had problems during their time in the desert, and mirroring what President Biden saw and those in Congress for Heath Robinson and his conditions, and he died, of course, before it was passed. But then also to onboard those without insurance. Dayton here on Edwin C. Moses Boulevard. I was a veteran service commissioner there for 8 years. Montgomery County having 11 commissioners at the time. Now they have 5 because we were the only county out of 88 that had 11 commissioners. They got rid of me and 6 others. So in any case, we still service people that need our help. We go out. Montgomery County does go out, and they use those funds to help out where they need to. But you can go there and get a copy. And yeah, we don't say they claim to have burned out. Many of them did, especially during a certain time.
Thank you, ma'am. Go ahead, sir. You have a question? Mr. President?
Yes.
I'm sorry, how do you see your name?
Well, I just want to know, and you may have already passed it out already, but you had mentioned something in your presentation about the years that are affected. Can you just tell us what those years are so that the people who are viewing can know what those years are?
Do you have that PowerPoint presentation copy on your phone?
Yes.
Okay, well, I will get you a copy in a minute and give you the time frames, because that's very important. Because a lot of veterans are in here and they're like, well, what is she talking about? I'll get it.
Do you have any other questions while she's getting that information for me?
I got a question.
So she's coming back. What the question was is that as she was giving her presentation, as Ms. Titus was giving her presentation, she kept referencing the time frame. And I know that if people are out there viewing this right now, they want to know what that time frame is. So she's about to share what that time frame is that this document covers. Thank you.
And that's why you're the president. So, the time frame is, and if you have a pen, we do old school. Just write it down. So we don't have a PowerPoint, but we do have the eras. So the Gulf War era and post 9/11 era eligibility. On or after August 2nd, 1990, if you were in Bahrain, Iraq, Kuwait, Oman, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Somalia, the United Arab Emirates, or UAE, on or after September 11th, 2001, Afghanistan, Djibouti, Egypt, Jordan, Lebanon, Syria, Uzbekistan, and Yemen. That is for that war effort, Gulf War. So we're going to get to Vietnam in a minute, okay? But the radiation presumptive locations are Anahuac Atoll, Palmera, Spain. If you were in the Air Force and you were part of the cleanup of the B-52 bomber carrying nuclear weapons off the coast of Palmera, Spain, the response to the fire on board or Air Force B-52 bomber carrying nuclear weapons near Thule Air Force bases in Greenland, January 1st through 1977 through December 31st, 1980, January 17th, 1966 through March 31st, 1967, January 21st, 1968 through September 25th, 1968. Conditions presumed to be service-connected. It's a long list, starting from asthma, brain cancer, chronic bronchitis, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, which is we call COPD, chronic rhinitis, if you have problems with breathing, and you feel that they say a lot of times it has to do with sinuses, obstructive bronchiolitis, emphysema, gastrointestinal cancer of any type, glioblastoma, granulomatous disease, head cancer of any type, that could be brain, high blood pressure, that is our big one, and I have it here, that anyone that has hypertension after serving and you're on medication to this day, go to the VA. Even your outside doctor or doctor from White Hat or wherever you're going, have it put on record, and they will pay you for that. It's a presumptive condition. The operative word is presumed that you got it when you were serving. Kidney cancer, lymphomatic cancer of any type, melanoma, MGUS. This is a big one. This is something they don't know anything about yet, but I got it for MGUS because they could not figure out what was wrong with me. And I'm sharing because we need to share so that we all can get where we need to be, especially getting those benefits that are due us. MGUS, MGUS, is a monoclonal gammopathy of undetermined significance. That means they don't know what's wrong. Neck cancer, pleuritis, pulmonary fibrosis, sarcoidosis. It's a list. Then I told you about the healthcare eligibility. Remember we talked about that? Yeah. Toxic exposure screenings. Who just mentioned that? Someone, you talked about it. Every time I go to the VA, they do it for me. That means every time you go to the doctor, they're going to put you on a list or a register, they call it, to make sure that you're on there for when it's time for them to look at those benefits and what you're presumed to have. They're going to say, okay, she's on this register, he's on this register, he's coming here for this condition, and it's presumed that he has it. That's just another tool that they will use to make sure that you get what you deserve and pay for that presumptive benefit. Other affected veterans and survivors. What about your family members? The wives of veterans. Any wives of veterans in here? Okay, there you are. We'll talk later. You'd be surprised. Survivor benefits. That is very important because we have a lot of veterans here in West Dayton, and I will tell you, I'm on a national campaign to help those veterans in some of these major cities, the spouses, and or surviving spouses, male or female. You may be eligible for VA benefits, including dependency and indemnity compensation. I will tell you this, for many years, we've had a lot of veterans that went into, now that long list I gave you was of course veterans, because you remember the time frame. That was the president's question. So we did go over the time frame. So the PACT, meaning Promise to Address Comprehensive Toxics. That's a PACT Act. That's what PACT means. And it's an act that was under the Sergeant First Class Heath Robinson, and it does two things. It's going to address those presumptive conditions, and it's going to expand the eligibility for health care. That's it in a nutshell. It's going to get you inside the doors of the Dayton VA that you never thought you could get into for medical help and health insurance. Okay? So did I answer your question?
Yes, ma'am. Well done.
Thank you.
Other issues being added to the pathway.
Okay. Oh, that is a great, that is a good that's why you're CK Williams. We've served on many veterans boards together, and he's gotten me through a lot of doors that if I wasn't with him, I wouldn't have gotten through. But yes, as we speak, and as they go through the system, so we can't be afraid of the new administration. Well, I was going to comment on what he just said. What happens is, every year, when they go through, like they went through the hypertension, and do you know most of the claims are coming back for hypertension with 0 rating? But now, it's 50. Same as sleep apnea and other conditions. It used to be so as the world turns and as all these claims go through, that's when you're going to start seeing more. So I have a current PACT Act numbers, and I'm not going to give you anything because I'm a researcher. I'm getting my doctorate, so I got to be correct. All of this information is current. So, thank you. Thank you for all your time. Thank you, Dr. Fowler, for asking me that question. I will take a claim from anybody, intent to file. I'm certified to do it, I'm trained to do it. But it's probably better if you go down to the Veterans Service Office in Montgomery County, because they don't take kind of field examiners doing that. Thank you.
And also the Veterans Service Office and veteran organization.
Oh, okay.
And also, I am the vice commander of the VAD, and we do have veteran service officers. We have 2. They do the training. American Legion, I think we have 1. The DLW has 2. Even the AMVETS have 1. So you can go to any certified veteran service officer in any of those organizations, veteran organizations, and get your training done for free. We do have people that's paying independent people to do that claim. But however, you get 100%, they could add something for 49% of your up to your pay that you get. So don't pay nobody, not even me.
Now, they can't get their retro. They can't get your retro. But they can get, or they can't get your monthly, but they'll get a percentage of your retro that's due you.
Now, also, when you,
Correct me if I'm wrong here, but also as soon as you make that decision to say, hey, call the VA, say, hey, I'm going to place a claim. You have 365 days to actually file it. And if it's not a new claim, it will go all the way back if it's PACT Act. Yeah, and it will. But also if it's if you're active for an increase on something, it'll go all the way back to the date that you requested it. Yes. Right. So if you, even if you don't know you're going to do anything, call and say you are.
That's good.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
We have a question over here.
No, I was just going to say it's a lot of information and I know we're sharing, but it's very important that you see that ESL because those folks are the experts at it. I have friends who I can do my own claim, yes, you can, but go to a VSO. They do it, they know how the VA works, they have that expertise. So I would suggest and highly recommend, as been stated, go talk to a VSO.
Oh, I'm a Vietnam vet, and I used to work at the VA, plus I get my medical care at the VA. Now, when we're in the public and we talk to people that's trying to assist us, and then we go see the doctor, and then they do what they do, and then they deny you now, it seems like they just want the Vietnam vets to go away. But like I got kind of blew up from a bomb, and I had both shoulders totally replaced, wore out the parts, and I had this one redone 3 times, and this one once, and I was supposed to get it done a few months back, but I was in a car accident and broke my arm, and I told them I need some life after being like that. But sometimes they just get you to a point that they just stop, they just say, well, you're okay, but they don't maybe they do realize every time they go in to replace a part, that hole get bigger, and your limitation is not the same, but they keep, they say, well, we're gonna keep you at a certain percentage, and they give them like 20% on one shoulder and 30 on another. And then I'm right-handed, and they give it to him on left, so it's always kind of a battle when you go in there.
Terry, you could go ahead first. That's okay. I'll clean it up for you.
As a veteran, what you have to do, honestly, is make sure everything's documented. You gotta go in there, get evidence-based, find articles that state this causes this, the causality, go in there, because as a veteran, I believe that their goal is not to find how much we can get, but to find how we can get it.
Well, I've been with VA 27 years, and I would agree, up until the PACT Act passed, I saw lots of people who got declined or they got reduced. But honestly, since that has passed, I have had so many veterans who were at 10 or 20% or non-service connected. Because again, if you have a bad knee when you're 20 and you get to be 30, 40, 50, that arthritis in your shoulder is not going to go away. So again, I would really, put that into your thing that, I had that surgery and that made it this, but I'm still having this problem because the arthritis from that injury when you get to be 60, 70, 80. And again, I'm going to tell you, I've had so many veterans and families that have called me and said, oh my gosh, Audrey, we got our 70% or we got our 100%. Can we now apply for the other program? So I'm not, there are still people who struggle, but I also know there's a lot of veterans who in the past knew their friend, Bob, he had 50% and he reapplied and they lowered it. And they did used to do that.
Right.
But I would say I have not seen that nearly as much recently since the PACT Act passed in August of 2022. It's been amazing to me to see that difference and to see the conditions. But I get a lot of families who give kickback to me, or even veterans, well, I applied before. But you know what? Before was a while ago. That's like hypothyroidism was not accepted as a condition until 2019. So if you filed for hypothyroidism back in like 1971 and it got approved now, you can get your old claim and say, you turned me down, but now it's approved and it's presumptive. So people who had thyroid problems, back from Vietnam and Agent Orange, they can get back pay to that date. The other thing I always want to say to some of the veterans who don't want to get their service connection, it does make a difference for your surviving spouse what benefits she can get after you pass. So sometimes when a veteran says, I don't want to do that, but it's going to help your spouse if they out-survive you. And let's be honest, most women do out-survive their husbands. And the other thing I was going to say is, some of the veterans realize, when I get a phone call from somebody and they're like, why aren't you helping my grandpa? Why aren't you helping my dad? Did they come to the VA? Did they get enrolled for care? Because there's nothing worse than when somebody's in hospice, and we could stack some extra services, and we were able to do that during the pandemic for a lot of people. So, having your foot in the door with the VA is so important because there's a lot of things, like I said, we can get you durable medical equipment. We can do a lot of things that get you a home health aid. There's a lot of things the VA does. We can get you a HISA grant. That's a home improvement structural alteration grant, where if you're service connected, it's like $6,800. If you're not service connected, it's $2,000. Yeah, that's not going to fix your whole house, but if you need a ramp or a bathroom, or there's other, what do you call them? It's through BBA, your program. Other special adaptive housing grants that some of our veterans do qualify for if they want to remain in their home. So there's a lot of pieces of the puzzle, and it's hard to navigate. And even a lot of veterans, it continues to change, just like she said, from August 22nd. My program's been, since 2020, the changes have been all the time. We've lost some lawsuits as the federal government, and so the changes to our program and how now you have more opportunities to appeal the decisions, at different times things continue to change and evolve. So, I know Greg says this to outreach all the time. If somebody says, I applied to get my care at the VA 5 years ago, well, a lot of things have changed in 5 years. So, reapply. Encourage your friends and family to reapply. Like I said, the most important person that takes my packet, I had a veteran once, he's like, well, I don't need it, but he gave it to his aunt and uncle, and they were able to enroll in the program and get approved. So sometimes it's not who takes my packet, it's who it ends up with. So just to say that, sorry. Felt like that was things that people aren't thinking about.
Sorry, that's good information. Because I keep telling folks, If you get turned down once, reapply. Turn down twice, reapply. This stay at it.
That denial has to be done within, what, 1 year. That's probably more than likely what's going on also with you, is that denial period. Also, too, there's two other words here, permanent and total. Permanent and total is when you have become or you have aged into your benefit. So, and at a certain percentage. So I think at 70 you can be permanent and total. When you have a benefit and you're getting, I'm 100%, but I've been at this since I've been home, 15 years, and I'm permanent and total. But you're saying it's taking you forever to get where you need to be.
It's a process. I've been, I started at a low percentage and.
You're at a certain percentage and you're not at 100 yet.
Right.
And the biggest jump, I'm not telling your business, is going to be from 90 to 100. You know that,
I'm
right?
at 80. I'm at 80.
Okay, 80 to 100.
Right.
That's the biggest jump, believe it or not. VA percentage and VA life is not like we look at it. 0% to 100% does not mean you get 10 on here and 30 on here. You just cut the body up. This arm is 20, this arm could be 10.
Right.
This head or this neck could be 10%, but that does not mean it's 30%.
Yeah, they do funny math.
Oh, right.
Right, they got funny math.
For me, I'll use myself as an example. 50, I have, sleep out if I need a
I'll use myself as the example with how they do their math. I have 50% disability for sleep apnea. So that means 50% of me is bad, 50% of me is good. Then I have 50% for anxiety. But since 50% of me is good, I only get 25% added into that. And it breaks it down every single time. One of the things that their math is, took me like a year to figure it out and get it down pat. One of the things that I remember saying, sir, was whenever I first got out, because they do nothing but give us Band-Aids, duct tape, and Motrin.
Right.
In the military to keep us on the front lines. And that's what they do. All right? So utilize the VA. Don't go in there and say, oh, I can do this. Don't go in there and say, when they say, how far can you bend? Oh, is that the farthest you can bend? Yes, that's the farthest I can bend. I'm going to try to push past my pain level anymore. I ain't got nothing to prove. You got to prove it to me.
That's right.
All right? Oh, I'm sorry.
Hey, I got another question. At the VA, I used to could get dental work, but now they had a doctor there. They said he was doing unsafe practice, so we get punished because now they want you to be 100% to get dental work. And so
I don't think Dr. Pemberton had anything to do with
I know it. He didn't. He just yeah.
It had nothing to do with that at all.
Right.
That's because they didn't have enough dentists.
Right.
That were going to be able to provide. And that is a secondary condition.
Right, but being a diabetic and stuff, I used to get dental care, but when that happened, they seemed like they punished us, because they made it that you have to be 100%. Now you can have a heart surgery and stuff costs way more than dental. They'll take care of it, but you can't get any dental.
Because it's called a secondary condition.
And
Although you need your teeth to eat,
right.
your body's more important than your mouth.
And like when I get my shoulders done, you're temporarily 100%. So I'll try to get in on that, but they put you so far out, you be off the time that it takes. So
What he just said was when he has his surgery, right?
right.
When you have a surgery at the VA, you are eligible for 100%.
Right.
And that is for one day,
Now, it might be
or
for the length
one
of
night.
the recovery.
One night inside the hospital.
Oh, okay.
It just doesn't matter. You will get that whole month. Now, we get guys and gals that go and have their surgeries done, and they become, just like you said, almost complete. And what they end up doing, and they still do it, they take it back. Unless you are, what I just said, permanent and total. If you're not permanent and total, they can't take it back. We serve a country and a military forces that will, or veterans benefits that will give you what you need, like they gave me 100%. But because I'm permanent and total, they cannot take it back. But if you are not permanent and total, they will and can take it back. You have to be 10 years vested,
Right.
but also permanent and total.
We have a question over here.
Are they still rejecting you because of income? You said I tried to get even an ID card, and they turned me down because they say my income with my wife, our income I should say, is too much for the
Threshold.
Huh?
The threshold.
I don't know what that is.
That means you're above what they can serve you for. But you need to look at PACT Act and see if you fall under any of those percentages.
So you're 0% rated?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, and they do the means test, so some people have a copay for medication, some people have a copay for services, but, you know, sometimes if you have private insurance and your copay for medication is $100 a month, that's $100, whereas if
let's wrap this up. I'll take one more question and then we'll wrap this up. Yes, ma'am.
She needs the mic, Renee. Hi, Renee. How are you, kid?
You want to ask about
Oh, graduation.
the veterans benefits? Is their budget connected, and how is it connected?
Veteran administration, do they, form a budget for all the hospitals and different things?
Does the,
Yeah.
yes,
That's good, because real quickly on this, this is very important. I served on, Premier's board and Kettle's board for the Veterans Administration. So what happens is, let's say I'm sick, I'm a veteran. You are, Mr. Portner, you're sick, you're a veteran, and you need to go to the hospital. And the closest hospital is not the Dayton VA, but you have to go to Premier, or we call it Miami Valley, or not Miami Valley, but North. We call it Good Samaritan. Good Samaritan North, but now it's called Miami Valley North. But the VA took you, I think this is her question, do they provide where you don't have to pay for that service now? You can get it. You will get that hospital stay or visit or overnight paid for by the VA. All you have to do is call the VA and let them know. So you're asking, are there benefits or is there a budget provided for that? Yes, because what happens is Miami Valley and Cary is the overflow for Dayton VA. A lot of people don't know that. Those hospitals have to care for our veterans. They're not private entities anymore. And I know that for a fact because I was in the hospital 6 months ago at Kettering and then got care flighted over to Miami Valley for a condition because Dayton VA did not have room for me and could not take care of me. So, yes, there's a budget. And that budget is a collaborative, if you will, between hospitals and services.
Thank you, ma'am. So, in closing, you just heard a lot of great information. I learned a lot today myself, and I try to stay up with what the veterans doing, benefits and so forth. So, and another comment I would like to make, every year I do this program, agencies, veterans, organizations are always ready to support us. I just met Carrie and Andrea, 2 weeks ago, told them about this program. They said, oh, yeah, we'll be there. So, veterans, please use those resources and give these folks a hand.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and let's give our chairman a round of applause. Put together this panel. So what I'm gonna play is I'm gonna play this because we say lights out. Okay, I'm gonna play this because what normally happens at 9 o'clock? Anybody tell me who's a veteran? Oh, 9 p.m. Right? See, 'cause my father was in the Navy. My uncles were in the Army. Another uncle in the Marines. So my uncles just missed the Air Force part of it, which I know the Air Force is down this area. Air Force is clearance as well. Air Force as well. Okay, Air Force. Air Force. All right.
great.
Thank you very much, everybody. And, next month inside this room, here we're going to have our annual meeting. But not inside this room, but downstairs, we'll have our annual meeting. This is where you're going to have an opportunity to hear from every standing committee chair to understand our body of work. Not just one committee or two committee, all of our committees to be able to report out. And we will be having our annual Christmas dinner, which is generally served by Outback Steakhouse. So with that, until next month, may God bless you, may God bless the NACP, and may God bless the United States of America. Thank you very much.